Preface. About OpenStax. OpenStax is part of Rice University, which is a 501(c)(3) nonprofit charitable corporation. As an educational initiative, it's our mission to transform learning so that education works for every student. Through our partnerships with philanthropic organizations and our alliance with other educational resource companies, we're breaking down the most common barriers to learning. Because we believe that everyone should and can have access to knowledge. About OpenStax resources. Customization. World History is licensed under a Creative Commons Attribution 4.0 International (CC BY) license, which means that you can distribute, remix, and build upon the content, as long as you provide attribution to OpenStax and its content contributors. Because our books are openly licensed, you are free to use the entire book or select only the sections that are most relevant to the needs of your course. Feel free to remix the content by assigning your students certain chapters and sections in your syllabus, in the order that you prefer. You can even provide a direct link in your syllabus to the sections in the web view of your book. Instructors also have the option of creating a customized version of their OpenStax book. The custom version can be made available to students in low-cost print or digital form through their campus bookstore. Visit the Instructor Resources section of your book page on openstax.org for more information. Art attribution. In world history, art contains attribution to its title, creator or rights holder, host platform, and license within the caption. Because the art is openly licensed, anyone may reuse the art as long as they provide the same attribution to its original source. If art appears without licensing information, you may assume that there are no known restrictions. If you claim copyright, please contact OpenStax at info@openstax.org. Errata. All OpenStax textbooks undergo a rigorous review process. However, like any professional-grade textbook, errors sometimes occur. Since our books are web-based, we can make updates periodically when deemed pedagogically necessary. If you have a correction to suggest, submit it through the link on your book page on openstax.org. Subject matter experts review all errata suggestions. OpenStax is committed to remaining transparent about all updates, so you will also find a list of past and pending errata changes on your book page on openstax.org. Format. You can access this textbook for free in WebView or PDF through openstax.org, and for a low cost in print. About world history. World History is designed to support both semesters of the World History course offered at both 2-year and 4-year institutions. Serving a student base of both majors and non-majors in the field, as well as an institutional variation in requirements of 1 or 2 semesters depending on the plan of study, the course introduces students to a global perspective of history conveyed within an engaging narrative. Concepts and assessments are presented in ways to help students think critically about the issues they encounter so they can broaden their perspective of global history and how the topics studied apply to their current life as citizens of the world. The text shows how historical content and the ways in which history is studied are relevant to modern-day needs and situations. The narrative shows readers the why of historical events and people, providing context and import to engage students. A primary goal of the book is to include content, scholarship, and activities that explore a variety of perspectives, including those traditionally underrepresented in this canon. Being able to thoughtfully achieve a global approach requires explicit discussions about the challenge historians face in their work. Each instructor and student enters the classroom with a construct that informs their existing understanding as well as their ability to understand and to appreciate novel perspectives. World History works to present an honest and authentic view of history for students to explore. The authors and reviewers achieve balance by introducing and juxtaposing people's experiences of history for a rich and nuanced discussion. New resources and new voices are integrated into the text in a deep and meaningful manner. Primary source material represents the cultures being discussed from a first-hand perspective whenever possible, showing a variety of experiences and voices that stress the interconnected nature of people and societies throughout history. Moreover, the work of diverse and underrepresented scholars and scholarship bolsters the text's ability to embrace diversity of thought and interpretation while spotlighting parts of history and places that often receive less coverage in history textbooks. Students will be challenged to use empathy to understand others' ways of thinking in order to better understand, analyze, and evaluate today's changes in the world. Pedagogical foundation. Learning objectives. Every module begins with a set of clear and concise learning objectives that have been designed to be both measurable and meaningful. These objectives closely align with current teaching practice and aim to help the instructor decide what content to include or assign, and to guide student expectations of learning. After completing the module and end of module exercises, students should be able to demonstrate mastery of the learning objectives. Key features. Various features throughout each chapter engage students with the content while having them practice some of the most essential skills in the study of history, such as the examination of primary sources, the analysis of multiple accounts of an event or period, the study of non-textual artifacts, and the exploration of how specific historical topics connect to today's world. 1. In their own words, students are presented with a textual primary source for review and/or analysis, with discussion, reflection questions included. This feature bolsters the foundational importance of using primary sources in historical studies. 2. Dueling voices. Learners are given either a historiographical debate or a side-by-side primary source reading that offers two different interpretations of the same event. Sometimes these are directly contrasting, and sometimes they help elucidate different perspectives. Discussion questions are included. This feature highlights that history is an interpretive discipline and that historians must regularly grapple with conflicting and at times contradictory information and approaches. 3. Beyond the book. Non-textual sources, such as art, physical objects, or architecture, are presented for study with the goal of helping students understand the value of these kinds of sources in historical work. Discussion questions open up conversations about how to understand these important artifacts. 4. The past meets the present. Students explore how an aspect of chapter content speaks to an issue in the present day, and have the opportunity to engage further in the topic with reflection, discussion questions. 5. Link to learning. This feature provides a very brief introduction to online resources, videos, interactives, collections, maps, and other engaging resources that are pertinent to students' exploration of the topic at hand. Section summaries. Section summaries distill the information in each section for both students and instructors down to key, concise points addressed in the section. Key terms. Key terms are bold and are followed by a definition in context. Definitions of key terms are also listed in each end of chapter glossary, as well as a book-level glossary appendix. Assessments. A variety of assessments allow instructors to confirm core conceptual understanding, elicit brief explanations that demonstrate student understanding, and offer more in-depth assignments that enable learners to dive more deeply into a topic or history study skill. 1. Review questions test for conceptual apprehension of key concepts. 2. Check your understanding questions require students to explain concepts in words. 3. Application and reflection questions dive deeply into the material to support longer reflection, group discussion, or written assignments. Answers to questions in the book. The end of chapter review, check your understanding, and reflection questions are intended for homework assignments or classroom discussion. Thus, student-facing answers are not provided in the book. Answers and sample answers are provided in the Instructor Answer Guide, for instructors to share with students at their discretion, as is standard for such resources. About the authors. Senior contributing authors. Senior contributing authors, left to right: Ann Cordes, Ryan J. Lynch, Brooke Nelson, Julie Tatlock. Ann Cordes, Johnson and Wales University. Ann Cordes holds a Ph.D. in history from Temple University, and a J.D. from Boston University School of Law. She is a professor in the Humanities Department at Johnson and Wales University, where she teaches courses in U.S. history, world history, the history of the Atlantic world, and the history of the Pacific world. Her research interests lie primarily in the fields of cultural history and gender history. Ryan J. Lynch, Columbus State University. Dr. Ryan J. Lynch is Associate Professor of the History of the Islamic World and Associate Dean of the Honors College at Columbus State University in Columbus, Georgia. A specialist of pre-modern Islamic history, he completed his D.Phil and M.Phil in Islamic Studies and History at the University of Oxford, and MLITT in Middle Eastern History and Language at the University of St. Andrews, and ABA in History and Religious Studies at Stetson University. Dr. Lynch's research focuses primarily on the period of the early Islamic conquests, the Islamization of the Middle East, Islamic State formation, and Arabic historiography, while he also has a growing interest in how modern terror groups use an imagined Islamic past to justify their extremist views in the modern period. He is the author of the award-winning book Arab Conquests and Early Islamic Historiography, IB Tauris, 2020. Brooke Nelson, formerly California State University. Brooke Nelson is the Director of Curriculum at Marco Learning, an edtech company focused on making great educational resources available to all students. Previous to this role, she taught at California State University, Dominguez Hills, and Marymount California University. Her favorite courses to teach were World History, Death and Dying, and Introduction to Western Civilization because they allowed her to share her love of history with both non-major and major students. Her research focus is the late Roman world, with a special emphasis on religious conflicts and gender studies. She has a doctorate from Claremont Graduate University and master's degrees from the University of California, Irvine, and the University of Edinburgh. Julie Tatlock, Mount Mary University. Dr. Julie C. Tatlock chairs the Department of Justice, Sociology and History at Mount Mary University in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Her research interests include world history, gender history, British history, and face-to-face and online pedagogy. She has several recent publications including Shaping Online Spaces Through Online Humanities Curricula, IGI Global, 2023, The Original Order of Things, Lutheran Journal of Ethics, 2020, and Enhancing Student Engagement Online, Creative Pedagogy in the Digital World, IGI Global, 2019. She is passionate about innovative teaching and learning as well as making higher education accessible to all students. Contributing authors: Chris Bingley, UCLA Celeste Chamberlain, Roosevelt University. Scott Corbett, Ventura College. Rick Johnny, Grand Canyon University. Jennifer Lawrence, Tarrant County College. Jamie McCandless, Kennesaw State University. Christina Mertens, University of Massachusetts Dartmouth. Anthony Miller, Hanover College. Abigail Owen, Carnegie Mellon University. David Price, Santa Fe College. Kim Richardson, University of South Carolina Lancaster. Chris Rose, the University of Texas at Austin. Joseph Snyder, Southeast Missouri State University. Christopher Thrasher, National Park College. David Toy, Northeast State Community College. Alexander Wathen, University of Houston Downtown. Grace Hunt Watkinson, Kennesaw State University. Joel Webb, Auburn University. Reviewers: Wayne Ackerson, Georgia Gwinnett College. Jonathan Allen, University of Maryland, College Park. Milan Andreevich, Ivy Tech Community College. Maria Arbeláez, University of Nebraska Omaha. John Bertalan, University of South Florida. Robert Bond, Miracosta College. Wesley Barutsky, Palm Beach Atlantic University. Ken Bridges, South Arkansas Community College. Michael Burchett, Ohio Christian University. William Burns, the George Washington University. Matthew Byron, Young Harris College. Robert Caldwell, University at Buffalo. Elaine Carey, Purdue University Northwest. Catherine Clark Walter, the College at Brockport. Melanie Cochran, Volunteer State Community College. Melissa Daggett, San Jacinto College. Sharon Dubrow, Rhodes State College. Charles DeWitt, Belhaven University. Sherry Dukes Idias, Central Community College. Mark Ellingson, Interdenominational Theological Center. Ronald Eidenberg, Middlesex Community College. Brian Gibbs, Dallas College. Leela Gibson, Santiago Canyon College. Travis Grasser, Collin College. Chris Gratian, University of Virginia. Matthew Hachalski, Seward County Community College. Brian Harding, Mott Community College. Paul Harvey, Steilacoom Historical School District No. 1. David Head, University of Central Florida. Catherine Holden, Stevenson University. Christopher Jackson, De Anza College. Leslie Kaufman, San Jacinto College. Mark Klobus, Scottsdale Community College. Jennifer Lang, Delgado Community College. Ira Lovich, Mount St. Mary's University. Paul Lubinecki, Chautauqua Institution. Senya Lubashich, Citrus College. John Lund, Keene State College. Jody Mader, Thomas More University. Michael Mangus, The Ohio State University at Newark. Nikki K. Michael, Bacone College. Charlotte Miller, Middle Georgia State University. Brandon Morgan, Central New Mexico Community College. Phil Nash, The Pennsylvania State University. Karin Newman, Miami University. Kenneth Oros, SUNY Buffalo State College. Lisa O'Sheen, Des Moines Area Community College. Dao Peng, Minnesota State University, Mankato. Jason Ripper, Everett Community College. Maria Ritzema, College of DuPage. Lamarche Rupnarine, Jackson State University. James Ross Natzel, Houston Community College. Kimlisa Salazar Duchisela, Pima Community College. Leah Seabook Rocha, Central Texas College. Julia Sloan, Curry College. Stephen Smith, Fullerton College. Mary Sommer, Millersville University. Ralph Sonnenschein, American University. David Stefanchik, St. Mary's College, Notre Dame. In Bianca Stumpf, Central Carolina Community College. Deborah Vess, East Georgia State College. Paul Vickery, Oral Roberts University. Christopher Ward, Clayton State University. Laura Wood, Tarrant County College. Clinton Young, University of Arkansas at Monticello. Additional resources. Student and instructor resources. We've compiled additional resources for both students and instructors, including Getting Started Guides, an Instructor's Answer Guide, Test Bank, and image slides. Instructor resources require a verified instructor account, which you can apply for when you log in or create your account on OpenStax.org. Take advantage of these resources to supplement your OpenStax book. Instructor's Answer Guide. Each component of the Instructor's Guide is designed to provide maximum guidance for delivering the content in an interesting and dynamic manner. Test Bank. With nearly 1,300 assessments across both world history volumes, instructors can customize tests to support a variety of course objectives. The test bank includes review questions, multiple choice, identification, fill in the blank, true, false, short answer questions, and long answer questions to assess students on a variety of levels. The test bank is available in Word format. PowerPoint lecture slides. The PowerPoint slides provide learning objectives, images and descriptions, feature focuses, and discussion questions as a starting place for instructors to build their lectures. Academic integrity. Academic integrity builds trust, understanding, equity, and genuine learning. While students may encounter significant challenges in their courses and their lives, doing their own work and maintaining a high degree of authenticity will result in meaningful outcomes that will extend far beyond their college career. Faculty, administrators, resource providers, and students should work together to maintain a fair and positive experience. We realize that students benefit when academic integrity ground rules are established early in the course. To that end, OpenStax has created an interactive to aid with academic integrity discussions in your course. Approved. Your original work, quoting and crediting another's work. Ask instructor. Checking your answers online, group work, reusing past original work, sharing answers. Not approved. Getting others to do your work, posting questions and answers, plagiarizing work. Visit our academic integrity slider. https://view.genial.lv/61E08A7F6DB870D591078C1/interactive-image-defining-academic integrity interactive slider. Click and drag icons along the continuum to align these practices with your institution and course policies. You may then include the graphic on your syllabus, present it in your first course meeting, or create a handout for students. Attribution. Copyright Rice University, OpenStax, under CC by 4.0 license. At OpenStax we are also developing resources supporting authentic learning experiences and assessment. Please visit this book's page for updates. For an in-depth review of academic integrity strategies, we highly recommend visiting the International Center of Academic Integrity, ICAI, website at https://academicintegrity.org/ https://academicintegrity.org. Community Hubs. OpenStax partners with the Institute for the Study of Knowledge Management in Education, ISKME, to offer community hubs on OER Commons, a platform for instructors to share community-created resources that support OpenStax books, free of charge. Through our community hubs, instructors can upload their own materials or download resources to use in their own courses, including additional ancillaries, teaching material, multimedia, and relevant course content. We encourage instructors to join the hubs for the subjects most relevant to your teaching and research as an opportunity both to enrich your courses and to engage with other faculty. To reach the community hubs, visit www.oercommons.org/hubs/OpenStax. Technology partners. As allies in making high-quality learning materials accessible, our technology partners offer optional low-cost tools that are integrated with OpenStax books.